What's up, guys? It's Dave, the Red Pill Coach, and I'm back again to teach you guys how to make your life better and how to make your relationships work. Today I got a different topic to throw at you, and I'm going to answer the all-important question. Is the coronavirus the long-awaited zombie virus? I wanted to chime in on the coronavirus outbreak. Yes, folks, I have a PhD in medical sociology, which is basically epidemiology, or the study of diseases, with a lot of Marxism thrown in, and a Master of Science degree in physiology from a medical school. I have a ton of molecular biology background, and I am going to put it to use explaining to you about this latest media sensation, the novel coronavirus. First, I think it's important to understand that coronaviruses are extremely common. They are everywhere you go, and they are responsible for about 1/3 of the colds that you get in your life. In fact, most viruses look kind of like a syringe and a needle. The coronavirus, in contrast, looks like a mushroom. The corona is a very bulbous mushroom tip, and I just know there's a Donald Trump joke in there somewhere, but I am not going to be the one to tell it. So these proteins in the tip, in the corona, are what let the virus attach to cells in the human body or into other animal bodies. And this allows them to cause infection. The coronaviruses are variable. That is, they change around. The corona does not always have the exact same proteins in the tip, which means that these viruses are able to do the unthinkable. They are able to actually evolve without even being alive, which is quite a feat when you think about it. That is, they can undergo natural selection and change characteristics over time. And this is why you can get a cold over and over again. Now, you get immunity from the flu, and you can vaccinate against the flu. But you can't vaccinate against the coronavirus because these corona proteins change very rapidly. Vaccinations work by immunizing you against specific proteins. And, frankly, you can't immunize against all the proteins because your body needs it too. So we haven't been able to immunize against coronaviruses yet because the virus just mutates to another protein that does the same thing, and you didn't vaccinate for that. So they've been a problem throughout human history, and coronaviruses are responsible for about 1/3 of the colds and, seasonal colds that you get throughout your life. Most people get a cold just about every year, many several times a year. About 1/3 of those are coronaviruses. Now, why are people so freaked out about this emergence of this new novel coronavirus? The real reason we are concerned is that before the year 2000, there were 4 known coronaviruses that infected humans. 4. Since then, we have had 3 additional pathogenic human coronaviruses emerge. 3 in 20 years. We had, and I'll list them, we had SARS, or sudden acute respiratory syndrome virus. SARS killed several hundred people, about 700 people in Southeast Asia, and it was contained and, as far as we know, it was eradicated in the early 2000s. MERS, Middle East respiratory virus, was discovered a little bit later. It has not been eradicated, but we have not had cases or we have not had sustained cases of human-to-human infection. In the Middle East, we think this virus is caused by bats biting camels, and then the camel handlers get infected. But again, they have not infected others. And now, again, in just 20 years, we've had the 2019 novel coronavirus, or what we would have called it not too long ago, the Wuhan flu. All of these 3 new bugs are closely related to known bat coronaviruses. They share the same DNA homology, in other words, the same DNA, of up to 98%, with several known viruses in bats. And all three of the new bugs kill by causing delayed pneumonia. More on that a bit later. I just want to point out that all three of these are highly lethal. Highly lethal. SARS killed about 10% of the people infected. MERS is much more lethal, kills up 40% of the people infected. This newest bug, the novel coronavirus, only kills about 2%. So you'd think, wow, it's the weakest yet. That's not always a good thing. The kill rate is not the most important thing in considering how dangerous viruses are. In fact, the stronger and faster the virus kills, in many ways, the better it is, because the easier it is to contain it. Let's take an example, Ebola. Ebola ain't getting out of Africa, okay? Within hours after you get infected with Ebola, you are flat on your back and you are puking and crapping blood in a few days. Now, that's awful, it's a horrible thing. But if you need to contain a bug, boy, that's exactly what you want. You want it to make itself known right away. You want it to hit hard, and you want to keep the patient from spreading it all around everybody. So Ebola is not very smart. It kills the patient right away. This novel coronavirus is much, much smarter than that. Again, it's the corona proteins makes it variable. So some of the viruses attach to cells and infect it right away. Some hang out for a while before entering the cell. Some take longer to inject their RNA, and so on. So this means it has a slow rate of infection over several days. And all the while, guess what? If you are infected, you are spreading lethal virus particles all around you, in the air, at the store, on the bus, on your seat at school, pressing the elevator button, getting gas, and paying for items at the store with money. Oh yes, coronaviruses love money. So use your imagination, but don't let it run wild because you'll go nuts. These things are everywhere, folks. That's what coronaviruses are. That's a little bit about how viruses spread. And many people are claiming that this is overblown, this is just the flu, and they're passing false information. This is much more than the flu. This is 40 times more lethal than the flu. Let me repeat that. This virus is 40 times more lethal than the seasonal flu. On the other hand, it's not nearly as infectious. This is called the R0, how many people one infected person infects. And the R0 is not very high for this virus, except for a few super infectors. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But for the most part, it looks like not a lot of people are infected by one carrier. I remember at a party once, my son, my little baby son puked. He splattered it all over the room. And there were 17 people in the room who got the flu 3 days later. All 17, 100% got the flu. So, if a bug like that emerges and there are multiple loci of outbreak all at once, and this, again, happens with the flu every year. It happens with cold and flu viruses every year. You can't contain it. It's getting out. There's no way. If it breaks out in multiple areas and starts massive human-to-human transmission, you can't contain it. So what happens if we've got a virus like MERS or SARS that is also highly infectious, like the seasonal flu and like most coronaviruses? Well, if a bug like that emerges, and by the way, coronaviruses, this is what they do. They change characteristics and evolve over time. If, and I would say if, I would say when, not if, when a bug like that emerges, we are going to be in for a world of hurt, folks. We're going to be in for a world of hurt, and it will happen. We've had 3 versions in the last few years. MERS, SARS, and now novel coronavirus. Just remember how bad Windows 3.0 sucked. Well, Windows 10 is a lot better. And we'll have to wait till Windows 10 to see how it looks. So why are these new emerging viruses so deadly? And why do they not apparently transmit from human to human all that easily? Well, it's because these new viral outbreaks are of zoonotic. They're of zoonotic origin. And what that means is that they jump species from animals to humans. Zoonotic. And here's what likely happens. An animal has a common animal virus. It usually doesn't even make animals sick. It just kind of hangs around. And then a human handler goes to work with a runny nose. He's got a coronavirus, a common human infection. He's not that sick. And now these two viruses can mix. The animal virus gains human virus genetic material, and now suddenly this animal virus can infect humans. Fortunately, the list of animal species that can mix with human viral genes is actually pretty small. Almost all viruses are benign. They don't cause disease. So that list includes pigs, birds, swine flu, and avian flu. Might have been a clue there. Pigs and birds, a few rare marine animals like seals and manatees, and that's it. That's it. Pigs and birds, and now we can add bats into the mix, and that's basically it. Don't live with pigs, birds, or bats, seals or manatees, and we won't get seasonal flu or seasonal cold and flu infections. That's it. It's because these people live with their pigs and their birds that we get the flu every year, that 1 million people die almost every year from this. Stop living with your pigs and birds, and we would stop having the seasonal flu every year. So that's my message. Next time, I want to talk, because I'm already at 15 minutes on this, I want to talk about, next time, about this novel coronavirus in particular, the course of the infection, and what would happen from a numbers perspective if a coronavirus that was highly infectious and lethal like this virus got out into the population. And finally, I want to talk about what you need to do as the man of the house to prepare for the zombie virus scenario.